Hello everybody, welcome back to Triple Terror, where I recap animatronic releases in little bites so it's way easier to digest. We are covering Halloween Costumes Wave 1 animatronic release, and again we're doing this in little bits and pieces so it's easier to talk about without having like a super duper long video, and so we can really get into the nitty gritty and pick these props apart. First and foremost, I do want to apologize in the delay of getting this video out there. I normally post these on Mondays, however, I was at Trans World and I got sick afterwards. I got really sick, and then I had to jump right into work. It's been very chaotic, so I now have the energy to kind of get back into things. So we're pushing through. So going forward, now I've gotten to see these animatronics in person, so I have a little better scope of kind of what to expect, and kind of a more, I guess, finalized opinion. Granted, what I saw were prototypes, these weren't final models, but they have a pretty generalized idea. So without further ado, let's just get right into it with Dire Dragon. So, Dire Dragon is a very unique item for the retail world. It is our very first actor, controlled animated piece. These are very common within the professional world. If you go to Trans World, you usually see 2, 3, maybe 4 booths with actor, I guess what's commonly called actor matronics. So with these being in the retail world, it definitely opens up a lot of doors in terms of home haunts and kind of what home haunters can do. Now, this is sitting at $350. I don't think it has a pre-order discount. It might. I don't see one. No, I don't see one at all. I'm kind of looking around here to double check my homework, and I don't necessarily see one. So this piece actually had a little bit of controversy behind it. Upon its reveal, I think it was Gorgolore actually had quite a bit to say about this this prop, and the brains behind it being Brick Thunder, and basically accused him of ripping him off and a bunch of other unnecessary things. And all I can really say is actor controlled props are not a thing Gorgolore invented, and I cannot say that enough. It's something they popularized. It's not something they invented. Again, you go to Trans World, you see about 3 other booths with actor-controlled puppets and props and characters. It's not something that Gorgolore invented. I see it all the time. I see big heads, big torsos. I've seen home haunters make their own. It's, the whole call-out thing was unnecessary, because at the end of the day, and I think this is the thing that I don't think the people in the professional world fully understand. The people who are buying this Dire Dragon are not the same people who are going to buy their products. Their products do not appeal to those same people. These are two completely different markets. These are for the people who have a much lower budget. Their products are for people who have a much higher budget. Granted, I have used a Gorgalore item. I work in a professional hunt. I use, I can't remember the name, it was a big werewolf head. The thing's massive, it's really cool. And I've also had the opportunity to kind of play around with Dire Dragon. And they feel completely different from each other. 100% different. And obviously I'm not trying to knock on Brick Thunder or Halloween costumes, but obviously the Gorgalore one feels better to manage. It's easy. Yeah, it's kind of easier to use. It's not as like, I don't know how to describe it. It feels smoother than Dire Dragon, which obviously I expected, because one's retail grade, one's professional grade. Of course, a professional grade one's going to be better. I mean, who would have thought, right? So, and that's okay. I didn't expect it to feel like a $5,000 item, because it's not going to. This is a mass-produced piece, you know? I will say though, in person, I was pretty impressed by the detail. I'm pretty sure this is Party Time that did this, because I've seen similar products from Party Time, and I don't know if this was just one of those things where Brick Thunder saw one of their random prototypes and it was like, this is cool, let's make it something different. You know, I've seen a couple similar things from them in the past that have definitely kind of looked like this, but they were like, I think one was like a hand and different things in the past. So the dragon head looks great though. It is very beautifully done. It is reminiscent of a Mario Kyoto sculpt, if anyone's very familiar with him. It has just kind of that sort of stylized look. I was trying so hard to really place what it reminded me of. It very much is very reminiscent of Mario Kyoto. More so with the snout, just how the snout looks, and just all the horns going down the snout. I'm pretty sure he did a mask that kind of looked a little similar. And again, it was very stylized, and I always thought it was really cool. The paint detailing too is beautiful on this. I love the airbrushed kind of dark yellow on the red, and then the dark crimson fin, you know, in between the horns. It's a very beautiful piece, honestly. The head alone is very well done. Honestly, just having it as like kind of like the dragon legend would have been really cool. It's a beautiful piece. I'm really curious to see how it comes out in production. I hope it still looks as good. I'm not sure if this has audio. I know it has a control box and it has a control knob, so I would assume it has audio, but I'm not sure. I didn't hear it have any audio. I know it has a fogging feature, which is really cool as well, but I didn't hear audio come out from it. And I'm kind of looking at the control box. This actually might be party gears. Now that I'm looking at the control box more closely, I don't know. It's either party gears or party time. I thought it was party time, judging by the looks. I know it has a sensor, so maybe it does have a audio track. I couldn't hear it. That might be a question for Brick Thunder. and I'll update that in the description. I'll ask him about that. But yeah, really cool piece. It definitely opens the door for more actor-controlled items. I know that there's a discussion between Halloween Costumes and Gore Galore about a potential collaboration. So, there's a bit of a happy ending there. So, I'm a little curious to see what that would look like. But yeah, that's Dire Dragon. And it's a little bit of a ramble, but let's move on to Salivation. So this is Salivation. This is another Brick Thunder original, and honestly, I don't hate it. I really don't. I was on the fence about it at first, but after seeing it in person and really getting to get a good look at that sculpt, because the sculpt is what really won me over, I like it a lot more. So this is Party Time, without a doubt, 100%. Owner Party, which is a subsidiary of Party Time, actually ended up leaking this and was trying to sell it, like they do, because they are very shady, and actually tried to sue someone over releasing the footage of this guy, because they obviously don't want to get caught. So Salivation is 8 feet, and he is pretty big in person. I was really, 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 really impressed with the height of this guy. And is this weird demon with a super duper duper long tongue. That's where the name Salivation comes from, like you're salivating. So I honestly, and that's the thing I don't like. I don't like the tongue. I think the tongue looks cheap. It looks super weird. It reminds me of these like China fake props that I used to see where they would have like a long red fabric tongue hanging out of their mouths. And it definitely hurts it for me. And I looked up close to it, and I did notice that there's no teeth under the tongue. They completely removed those. So it's like if you remove the tongue, he's missing like his lower teeth, which I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure something out with Salivation and see what I can do, because I don't like the tongue. The tongue looks cheap to me. He is currently going for $250, which is actually a pretty fair price for such a large prop. Animation wise, he moves his head side to side, and he has like a mouth mechanism on the tongue, so the tongue wriggles around, and then he has this kind of guttural growling. It's kind of cool. The face, again, I love it. I love the face so much. It's this kind of demon, alien-esque creature. It's very weird. And he's got like blood seeping out of his eyes, blood seeping down his mouth. And what's really cool about this, and I'm noticing it in the stock photos, his IR sensor's actually hidden in between his two front teeth. A little curious to see how that's going to work out. Well, actually, no, it does work out fine, because he was going off quite a bit at Transworld, and they had him on sensor. He's also got bloody hands. These are kind of similar-ish to the kind of crouchy Mr. Punchy styled hands. He just has shorter claws than crouchy. But yeah, I am just in love with his face sculpt. I think it is just so cool looking. But the tongue does just kill it for me. I just don't like that weird fabric tongue piece. He did change quite a bit from the original source material. I need to pull it up kind of so I have a little bit of a reference. But I know the tongue originally did not have a print on it. So I'm glad that Brick Thunder pushed for a print at least, because it was just a bright red material. I think it was felt originally. And then I believe the costume was shorter. I'm trying to find it. There's some prototype videos. So I'm trying to pull it out. I was low-key unprepared for this one. There were like factory videos that came out for Salivation. No, I can't find it. That's okay. I'm sure some of you guys can find it. It's not hard to find. But it was definitely really interesting how much it changed from. Oh, here it is. I actually did find it. Yeah, so it had like just a plain red felt tongue, and the costume was a little shorter and had his shoes more exposed. So, and that's kind of most of the changes. Yeah, looks about it. The tongue was pointier too. It was more of a almost like a serpentine tongue as well. The base on this guy, by the way, I do want to mention that is pretty thick. It's a square pull base, so it looks like he will do pretty good out in the weather. So looks like the quality definitely got upped a little bit. But yeah, that is Salivation. Really cool piece. I am a fan. If I get one, I'm doing some altering on this guy. Like taking off the tongue, maybe putting like a limb or something there if I have the clearance in the mouth, and adding horns too. He needs horns, I feel, like ram-shaped horns. So let's move on to the floating phantom. So we are on to our last prop of the day, or I guess of the video. I don't want to say the day. This is the floating phantom. This was previously a UK exclusive that was carried by Palmer Agencies and is now being carried in the US thanks to our Lord and Savior's Halloween costumes. Now, this is not the first time they've brought in a UK exclusive over to the US. They did that with the Banshee prop, and I think they did it with another item as well. So it's really nice that they're doing this because, honestly, the UK gets some really nice stuff. This being probably the best in my opinion. This is by far my favorite of the SVI Phantom characters. The face has this... I'm trying to think of how to explain it. This, like, empty kind of look. It's almost like a mask. The eye sockets are empty. The mouth is empty. It's like it's just a husk. It's very eerie, but it's simple, you know? It has this very mummified appearance, and it doesn't have the classic wraithy, very stylized look that SVI typically goes for, and I think it really works. The outfit is what you would expect. It is a monochromatic gray robe, and I think what makes this character very unique is, I believe it's the arm with the lantern. It has a spotlight that shines up on the face at all times, so the face is always highlighted, and it gives it this really nice dramatic look, and it does a really wonderful job. And then he has another arm that kind of sways back and forth. It's very like kind of ghostly and creepy looking. It's a really nice piece, honestly. I've always liked this character. I was gonna try to have it imported in the US last year, but you know, obviously that's really expensive. but I was told that, you know, Halloween Costumes had this guy and, you know, wait off a bit. I did. I'm so glad I did. This guy's going for $250, which is actually a fairly decent price. Ooh, again, way cheaper than having one of these imported. It looks so nice. Even the lantern has some really nice detailing to it. The whole prop is really nicely done. And again, while the whole design is fairly simplistic, the hands have a nice sculpt to them. I believe the hands have been used before, but again, they still look good. They're that kind of classic phantom bandaged hand. We've seen them a few times. The face, again, I think is the highlight of the entire character. And what I'm the most glad that they did is they didn't give him a light up head. I feel like that would have ruined it. I'm glad they gave him a spotlight instead. I think that makes it look more ghastly. And then again, like the lantern looks so nice as well. Overall, just a very well done piece from Seasonal Visions. It's a favorite from me. It is a buy, like for sure, without a doubt. I will be purchasing this for my cemetery. It's a very classic looking piece. It's a very nice looking piece. It's not too much, and it's also not too little. It's that perfect medium, and I think that makes this a very effective animatronic. So I'm very happy, and again, it was very nice to see in person too. The movement was very fluid. So I think someone actually has the prototype too. They I guess they were selling them off at Transworld. I had no clue. So, but yeah, very very nice. So yeah, that was episode 3 of Triple Terror, Halloween Costumes Edition. Mostly pretty decent items this go round. Everything I have a pretty decent liking to. Now, am I going to buy everything? Probably not. But, you know, I definitely didn't dislike everything in this go round. Now, next episode, we're going to be talking about the Graveyard Caretaker, which I have a little bit of insight on. So stay tuned for that. Raven Scarecrow, which is a bring back, which I never got to see it in person, so it's going to be a really fun discussion. And the last of the Brick Thunder characters, the 13-foot acrobatic clowns, which we're really going to pick that one apart. So stay tuned for that video. I should have that one up by Monday. I pinky promise. I'm not doing anything crazy. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, while you're at it, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.